and we're going to get started. So today's webinar will give you insight on why social media belongs in your business and the encouragement and the tools that you will need to better optimize that time and maybe your budget and get your company headed in the right direction with social media. Whether you are new to this game and just getting started, or maybe you want to refine your social media strategy, this webinar has great information that can do both for you. So why social media? I really like this quote by Seth Godin. It's simple, but I think it gets a great point across. Marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories that you tell. Social media is the same way. Your customers want to connect with you. So how or why you're posting is just as important as what you're posting. Today's society is image driven, which is great news for sign companies because y'all have that visual and y'all are extremely relevant. Signs aren't just about branding or getting people into a store, but you can tell a story with signs and you can share those on social media. They can become the photo backdrop of someone's story, and they can share it on social media and share it and eventually garner those views to a wider audience. I'm still learning sign industry lingo, but clearly signs have been a part of my social media feed for quite some time, as you can see here. So again, they want to connect with you and be a part of your story. Social media is everywhere, and there are millions and millions of users on all platforms. As of January 2022, there are 3.96 billion total social media users across all of these platforms. The average person will bounce between 7 social media platforms per month, and the amount of time that adults will spend on these platforms per day will be 95 to 120 minutes. And 69% of us adults are currently using at least one social media site. So as you can see, those stats are adding up to where social media is the place to go. So let's talk benefits of social media. Social media has transformed the way that we do marketing. When you post that image of your sign, you can resonate with your customers, which will multiply those views, which will better your company image. I've compiled a list of 8 overall benefits that I see with having social media for your company, and I'll go over those in a little bit more detail right now. Social media is just convenient. It is all over the place. All the apps are on your phone, and everybody has a phone. So I guarantee that your audience is already on social media. Judging by the stats that I just showed you, it clearly shows that they are. So it's kind of a no-brainer to go ahead and invest that time to get onto social media. Another benefit is that it's easier to establish and improve your brand awareness being on social media. The people who support your business are already or probably will start following you. People are associating with companies that they like and respect, and therefore your loyal customers that you already have are going to grow your following, because it's only natural for those of us who like something to share it with others and want them to do the same, which will then help grow your reach, because a wider audience equals a higher reward. 70% of business to consumer marketers have gotten their customers just through Facebook. When you start having that consistent presence online, your visibility will increase and people will start recognizing you. Once they start recognizing you, they're going to trust you. And when they start trusting you, they're going to tell others. The fourth benefit is that when you are on social media, you can find out what your interests your audience have. People are going and flocking to social media to find a certain product or service. So you already being on these platforms is going to benefit you in finding out what they are interested in. So paying attention and providing that customer service to your audience is going to help you better manage your online presence. Building stronger engagement. Promoting your value that you bring and consistently sharing that is going to establish that credibility and that trust, which will lead to stronger engagement amongst your following. Trying for that viral moment is fun, but in the long run, it can hurt your overall strategy. So taking the time to know your audience and building on that engagement and that credibility, even if it takes multiple posts, is good to do. Customers who are engaging and with businesses and businesses who are engaging back with those customers are spending 20 to 40% more money with that business in the long term than others. It will help you attract customers to your website. Most companies have a website. This is helpful for new businesses as well, but if you already have an established website, social media can help also. People want to know where they can find it. Googling is great, but sometimes it's kind of frustrating when you have to filter through certain keywords and scroll. Having social media and being able to link your website to these platforms just gives your website a more overall availability to be seen by potential and current customers. Low cost, high reward. Compared to traditional marketing, social media will always come out on top as being the more cost-friendly option. You do not need a huge budget to do social media marketing. Platforms and certain apps are free. And then you also have the option to upgrade if you see a need to, or maybe purchase a targeted or promoted ad to boost engagement or a product that you are wanting to sell. But again, it's such a low cost compared to traditional marketing tactics that it's the way to go. Also, once you're on social media, you already have had that exposure, and exposure is 100% free. So just again, setting up that social media account and providing that content and interacting with your customers is going to get people to notice you and get your company exposure. Investing in these free or low cost social media efforts is going to drive people to your business. The 8th benefit is that it's easy to analyze and adjust. You have the ability through these social media platforms to find out who is coming to them, how they feel about your content, and what they're engaging with. So you're able to track and to adjust it accordingly. Using the cycle of analyzing, changing, tracking, and tweaking is good. Analyzing your metrics, change what's not working, tracking those changes and their impact, and then tweaking it further if needed. Again, doing this cycle will allow you to optimize your marketing strategies and maximize your ROI. Platforms, again, have their own analytics, but there is more out there through other programs and apps. So do your research if when you look at your social media analytics, if it's not providing what you are looking for, there are apps that can do that as well. So adopting this digital mindset. All these benefits are great, and we can see the benefits of social media, but how are we going to get our mindset ready to go into social media? It can be tough to add it. It's time consuming. It can be a little overwhelming. The idea is great. Businesses know and see the benefits of keeping up with it. But again, it's hard to manage. They see their hindrances as maybe being their time, money, or creativity. 45% of owners state that they don't have that time, money, or creativity to bring their ideas to life. but they do know that sales online through social media marketing are becoming part of the norm. A stat that I found very interesting when working on this was that 74% of people are going to just social media before making their purchase decision, meaning they're going to Instagram, they're finding their product, they're contacting that company, and they're purchasing directly from social media. So which platform is good for your company to use? There are a lot out here. I have listed the top 5 that MSSA uses regularly. As you can see, they all have their pros of which one is good for you. Take some time to really look and see what will fit best with your company and go from there. Don't overwhelm yourself by thinking that you have to be on all of these platforms all at once. Start with one, see how it goes, and continue from there. Facebook is great for those videos or links to your website. Instagram, I think, is a great option for sign companies specifically because it is a visual platform and signs are visual. LinkedIn is keeping up with those professional-oriented posts, links to articles and blogs, what your company leaders are saying about the industry. Go to LinkedIn for those. Twitter is for texting and links, but be careful with that 240 character limit. It can be hard to get your post across in such a short, tight squeeze. And YouTube is for those promotional and informative videos that you can house all in one spot where people can go back to get the information that they need. It is possible to download social media and just start posting. However, in order to make sure that your business's social media strategy will and stay successful, you need to first set, target, brand, know, and create. So what are those? You need to set your goals and objectives, which can be extremely overwhelming when starting out. But first, start by describing your business. What are you known for? What makes your business unique? Why are clients coming to you for business? Other questions to ask yourself are, how would you like people to think and feel when interacting with your company on social media? What are your overall goals and how does social media fit into your business strategy? And by adding social media, what are you hoping to attain from using it? Your goals need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-oriented. Setting these goals to be that will help you succeed in the long run. These are some examples of generally what businesses describe as being their overall goals and objectives, with 61% of them saying that generating traffic and leads is one of their biggest challenges. But again, being as specific and measurable as possible leads to higher success when you do these. Targeting your audience. Your audience and ideal customers are the ones who are most likely going to buy your products and services. So you might need to do a little research starting off, starting with surveys to see what they're interested in knowing. Looking at already established data if you have social media now, or maybe even doing a geographical search on Google of who around you would benefit from what you are trying to accomplish. Creating those ideal customer profiles will help you select your target audience. Asking yourself who they are, where they hang out, what content are they interested that you provide, when are they looking on social media, and why are they continuing to engage with your content? I've plugged in some examples from Mid-South to kind of show you an ideal customer profile. Who are they? Well, our target is sign companies, manufacturers, distributors within the region that we serve. Where are our audience? They're on Facebook and Instagram, as you can see on the chart to the right. However, on below, you can see that they are mostly engaging on LinkedIn. This is good information to have. What can you provide that your target audience is looking for? Information on trade shows and events, membership, programs and webinars that we are providing, and sign industry news. When is our audience engaging with us on social media? Typically, we see the most engagement a couple of hours after the post, whether we post in the AM or the PM. And why does our audience keep coming back to our social media? They want to expand their network. They want to get that up-to-date information, those event reminders, and more. This all is great for your customer profile. Setting your brand. Most of companies already have their set brands and logos, but being consistent and putting that on your social media gives you that better visibility and exposure, and your people know who you are. There are 3 ways to make your brand stand out on social media: through your logos, your colors, and your fonts. This will better show who you are as a brand. Especially, we all tend to do that mindless scrolling through social media. When you know the brand and you know what you're looking for, you say, hey, I know that's MSSA. I'm going to click it, see what they're posting, and engage with it. So keeping your brand consistent will help you better your strategy. As you can see here, I kind of put some examples from Mid-South. We've got our logos that are consistent, our colors that are consistent, but with supporting colors, fonts that are consistent, that show our brand as a whole. So how do we even know what to post? I love creating a content database. This is really great time management for when you are thinking of something and you can't post it right away. Put it in your database. When you have testimonials or reviews that you want to use, have it there. Ideas for post. All of this is great for your content database. All of the photos from all of the events, so that you can use at the drop of a hat if you're feeling a little lackluster in the inspiration category one day. Having that database in your back pocket will benefit you. Knowing what to post means putting up general guidelines to direct them. With Mid-South, we want to keep our posts motivational and membership and educational oriented. This gives us a guideline on where, when we are posting our content, of how we want it to be perceived. You want to make it fun. Make that promotional and informative content engaging and attention grabbing for your audience to keep them coming around. Behind the scenes, history of your company, tours around your shop, your employee spotlights, putting that face. And an intimidating but fun option would be to go live. These are all great ways to keep your post engaging and your audience coming back. Inspiration when creating content can strike any time, but sometimes it's hard for you to manage that because maybe you're strapped for resources or you're just feeling tapped out. Business owners say that improving their social media skills would be the most impactful thing that they could do for their business. But then again, they're still asking how. Create your content that will resonate with your customers. Messaging your format that fits with the social media platforms that you are already using. And being cohesive so that you tie your story together and creates that perception that you are the expert to go to. I can't remember where I found this, but I have been keeping up with this every time I do social media. I think it's a great kind of cheat sheet when creating content. It's the 6 C's of content creation. I love a good play on words. And so this really stays in the back of my mind when trying to create engaging content. You want to have clarity. So you want to have a purpose of your post. That color, you want to define your color palette, which goes along with the branding that we talked about earlier, not just in your post, but for your Instagram feed so they know who you are. your composition on how you do your post. Do you frame it? How do you use that negative space? All of this comes into play when making content. When you're looking at your feed, is it various? Are there different categories? Are there pictures? Are there texts? Keeping it mixed up is really good for your content. Your captions, what are you sounding like in your captions? Are you using we and our when describing? Are you adding emojis? How are you making your captions grab the attention of your audience? And then consistency. How many times are you posting? Are you posting once or twice a day, 2 to 3 times a week? Keeping it consistent when content creating is key. So how do you keep all of this together? Oh, well, first, I skipped a spot. I wanted to give you an example of what I mean when I say the 6 C's of content creation. I have here posts, and as you can see, I have the clarity of the purpose of the post, the colors, the composition. It's all right there. Here you can see in our social media feed that we're keeping it mixed up. We don't have all the same information. It's going to where you have different things to look at when you're scrolling through our feed. You see our captions and how we are using emojis and capitals and other things to grab your attention with this post. Now let's put it all together with your content calendar. 42% of business owners know that the most time-consuming aspect of social media is posting and managing to these platforms. So determining the time you want to spend is key. Small business owners spend anywhere between 2 to 9 hours a week on social media. Whether you have less or more, optimize that time and use it to its fullest. Creating yourself that calendar and deciding when you're going to post will keep your strategy in line and keep you consistent. I've listed a couple of scheduling programs that are really good for if you don't have that time to manage, or maybe you have multiple social media platforms that you want to keep all in one place. These are great options. If you just have 1 or 2 platforms and are good with time management, something so simple and effective is an Excel worksheet. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be effective. And I love a good Excel sheet. As you can see here, I have the tabs. I do make it a little fancy for my own benefit, but I can go back to different months, see what I need to post, what I might need to do less of, and things like that, all right there in my Excel sheet that I can refer back to. This is great as well to put in your content database. So what are some fun tools that can help you get that creative spark going? What's so great about some of these platforms, especially Instagram, which that's the one that I'm gonna show you an example of in just a minute. They have the tools that are a one-stop shop that you don't need to download other apps and programs. If you just want a basic fun post, you can do that with these platforms. I'm showing you here in this one where you pick your photo and then you can go in, and Instagram already has different filters that you can choose. You can brighten it up and contrast it. You can make it warmer. All of these things are right there in Instagram. You don't need to go anywhere else. Make your caption, add a little emoji, share it, and you're good to go. Through Facebook stories and Instagram stories, you can do the same. It's all right there. You choose your post, fix it how you want it. You can use links and music and different stickers. Here I am putting in a link and I want someone to vote. So this is what I'm putting here to direct them to that site. I want to make it a little more fun. So you have tons of options to kind of visualize what you're trying to do. Click on it, make it how you want it. It's easy to go and you can share it right away. One of my all-time favorites is Canva. To me, this is the most user-friendly app for social media and to make that content. I could go into a whole nother thing on Canva itself. But to me, everything is right there for you to have, again, one-stop shop. I'm going to show you here as we try to make a post. You can create your design, and when you click on it, you have tons of templates you can search for to choose from. You can upload your apps. You can do backgrounds and text, choose photos, graphics, all right here. So we're going to make a 4th of July post. You can search it, find the template that you want. If you want to kind of make it on brand, you can add a little bit of your branded colors. Once you have that template, you can move things around. You can delete them. You can make it your own from what you had to begin with. As you can see, I've moved things around. I'm adding our logo to fix to where we want this to say from MSSA. Again, we're going to add these things that are right here to the left of your screen, all one-stop shop with the search that you can do. You've got your image. All you need to do is download it and share it on your social media, and you've got a post ready to go. That simple. Other tools that I like to use that help me with captions or more design are Google. I love using Google to kind of get me inspired on kind of a play on words. So I look up like invitation, party invitations to kind of get those play on words, especially for a fun themed post. Rhyme Zone is great for if you just want to think of a different word than great, type it into Rhyme Zone, and it gives you some other options as well. Creative Cloud with like InDesign and Photoshop and Illustrator are great for maybe already established graphic designers or marketers in your company. But this is good to start out with if you want to have a logo from scratch that you can then put into your database to use for later on. Grammarly is great because we all need to check our grammar and our spelling. So it's really easy to attach this to your keyboard on your phone. And that way, every caption that you're typing, it comes back and tells you that it's good to go. A big thing that's not an app or a program, but will always have the more engagement will be photos. So again, take all of those photos and use them because they will receive the better engagement because you literally are putting a face onto your company. Once inspiration has taken hold, you can use these tools to make it easy to create content and to keep later on. So again, it helps with that time management of you do it once and you have it later to use super easy for another post down the line. Here is just a overview of kind of the ones that I stated earlier. They're easy on your phone to find, again, on your desktop, all right there for you to use. Very good options. Engagement. I state that this is the biggest thing for companies and consumers to keep your strategy going. It is to engage, and it works both ways. So how do you engage? You're liking, you're commenting, you're sharing. These are all great ways to keep that engagement going and that customer service going. You want to do call to actions on your post. I did one earlier to where I wanted someone to post that they're coming to see something. This is keeping that engagement, making them click on a link to register. All of these are great ways to keep that engagement. Tagging your employees, your clients, sponsors. When you tag people, they then want to post it on their own social medias and again, have that exposure and gain more audience engagement. Keeping your customer feedback consistent. You want to do this every quarter or so because you want to keep things up to date and fun and engaging. So asking them what they still like to see, what they want to see less of, is always good for your overall strategy. And another fun one is giveaways. We all love a giveaway. It does take away sometimes from the organic engagement, but again, who doesn't like a giveaway? And these can be fun every now and then. Here I'm showing you kind of what I mean by engagement with call to actions on post, where we want them to click the link. Here we want them to share a comment about their experience. These are all great engagement tools to keep up with. Tagging your people so that they then can share with their clients. I hope this was a good starter for you today. I want this to not be overwhelming. I want you to remember that social media is a creative, fun, and engaging platform. So once you do some research and ask those questions, you can let your creativity and inspiration run wild. I made a couple of little documents for y'all if y'all wanted to click on or use the QR code for here, just to kind of, if you wanted to print them out and get you started. I made a little content calendar and maybe a little checklist cheat sheet so that when you're doing all of these, you can kind of refer back to everything to make sure that you are providing really good, fun, and engaging content, as well as some ideas for your content guidelines on how you post and what you post for that. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see if we have any questions. What is considered a good consistency in posting frequency? This kind of is a give and take of, you kind of play around with it. Typically, I would say at least once a day. However, you can sometimes see the engagement goes away. So maybe once or twice or 2 to 3 times a week is a good overall consistency of posting. That's why I like stories and Facebook and Instagram, because even if you have that one post, you can still share things such as registering for events or in your stories, which will be more posts per day, but it doesn't overall overwhelm you with how many posts you have to do.